This podcast is brought to you by Impact.com. Impact.com is the world's leading partnership management platform. Are you looking for new ways to acquire new customers? Impact.com can help you drive revenue through partnerships with publishers, creators, or other brands. Visit Impact.com today.
You're listening to the Affiliate Marketing Podcast brought to you by AffyverseMedia.com, the chapter and verse of everything you need to know about running a successful affiliate program for your business. Now, here's your award-winning affiliate and performance marketing host, an industry veteran, your affiliate marketing guide, and the founder of Affyverse, Leanne Johnston.
Welcome to the final episode of Season 17 of the Affiliate Marketing Podcast, which has been brought to you by Impact.com. We had a star-studded lineup of guests this season who provided us with tons of value bombs and insights and strategies of what's to come as we see this year through to the end of 2024. If you missed a couple of episodes, I encourage you to go back and listen to the missed weeks, as this season was simply steeped in knowledge. But don't despair. If you're not caught up yet, in this episode, I'll be giving you the down low of the best bits of advice that we gained from each lovely guest each week to keep you updated on what's new and trending in affiliate marketing. Now, make sure you're subscribed to our weekly podcast so you don't miss a single episode of all the weekly releases. And if you're loving the podcast as much as I do, drop me an email with some of the topics and suggestions that you may have, and I'll take this into account as we plan the year ahead. Now, you can email me on lj@affyverse.com. That's nice and easy to remember. Without any further ado, let's summarize what has dropped this season that you all can catch up on. To kick off the season, we welcomed none other than Robert Glazer, founder and board chair at Acceleration Partners. Now, let's just say both of us have been veterans in this industry, and we discussed the history of affiliate marketing then to now, touching on building blocks of the industry, relationships, and what the future holds, plus the impact of technology, adaptation, and AI. Listen here as we ponder what has changed in the industry since we both began. What are the three biggest things that have stood out for you working in affiliate marketing in all of this time? What are the three big things that are either the same, have never changed, or have changed fundamentally?
I think what doesn't change sometimes is most interesting. What hasn't changed is this is a relationship, industry. And, people choose to work with programs and people sometimes based on not the brand, but I would say like the brand reputation of the affiliate program or the partner program. Let's say it's Acme Corp. You might love Acme brand, but Acme may be a terrible program to be part of. They may have traffic outing and not do make goods and not communicate well or otherwise. So I think this industry tends to be kind of half technology and half relationships. There has been a huge change in the technology. I think just even for a long time, and you can find this information if you do the research. I think with the exception, a lot of the networks were cash cow businesses. There wasn't a lot of competition and there just wasn't a lot of investment in the technology. And I think when the SaaS revolution started, it forced everyone to up their game and to get better and start thinking about what do good services look like and what is good technology like? Because people were just kind of buying that all in one package. So I think whether there's still models that are integrated, but I think evaluating software as software and services as services, I think was a pretty big development for the industry in terms of what's changed. And then I think the third thing is this sort of globalization of the industry and this convergence of lots of different things into a bigger partnership channel. I know the industry was trying to move away from affiliate for years. It kind of settled on performance marketing, but then everything became performance marketing. But I do think if, partnership marketing, and if you think about what is an affiliate, that's like a loose relationship. It's
Very
used
loose term.
in like credit cards where people that you don't really know. I think it's not just a branding thing. I think this new umbrella of partnership marketing, and to me, when people always talk about what's the size of that and the size of the affiliate market, to me, partnership marketing kind of represents the scaling of business development like principles through software. And so it just represents a very big market that goes beyond, I think, what people talked about traditionally as affiliate. And we've seen influencer merge into that. We've seen some B2B. I think you'll continue. I think companies kind of are more coalescing around like a chief partnership officer or head of partnerships or otherwise.
Let me ask you a question. Are you already planning for peak? It's nearly time to hit the sales period with Black Friday, Thanksgiving, and the Christmas holidays just around the corner. According to Melissa Feemster, the co-founder at Team Bespoke, and the ton of research that she's done on consumer behaviors, you should be getting ready right now to get ahead of what's coming up next. Even though we focused our conversation mainly on the US and the current economic impacts of the election year, one thing remains true across the world. You need to anticipate what the best offers will be, follow the hot trends to get ahead of the competition, and make sure that you're fully prepped for peak. In the next clip, we'll hear Melissa talk about how we should tackle the coming holiday season, listening in closely as you might get some tips on how to plan yours. What are some of the things that you can plan for to kind of build that consumer trust and maintain their uncertainty so that they do buy? Are there things that we should be planning for 3 months before we get to the October, November time? And what are some of the best ways to do that?
There are. So start planning for getting into gift guides in August or September. I know that seems super early, but each of the content sites, the media houses start writing those gift guides in August and September. So making sure that you have presence within those is really important. They're going to start to come out with those in October, which is a great time for people to really go through consideration and learning about the brand. And then the actual purchases will come through, of course, in the actual holiday peak time. So that's one thing to think about.
Let's just dumb that down a little bit. And not because my audience isn't experienced, but just think about the context of what you're saying. It's getting into the SEO, the content, the heavy content publishers. So maybe diversifying your brand out of some of the other channels, like the influencer channels, which are more on the bottom of funnel. Like I already know what I want to buy and I want to buy it from this person because they've got whatever offer they're offering or bundle or whatever it is. So start with the top of funnel earlier in October and kind of build that consumer trust and brand loyalty with repetitive content about quality, quantity, all of those things that are going to make consumers feel safe and secure in buying your brand and spending their money a little bit more considerate in the current climate. What's next?
The next thing is to know that Meta is going to get very expensive around that election. So October and end of September are going to get super expensive for any retailer who tends to spend quite a bit on any of the Facebook properties. So know that you might not be able to afford it. And so you're going to have to think about how to shift your budget differently. But that also actually affects the funnel that you were just talking about. And the fact that lots of times your brand is discovered within that Meta channel. So thinking about what are other places I can go to get top of funnel discovery in late September and October, where I'm going to shift my budget away because I just know that Meta is going to be so expensive, I won't be able to actually be playing much on there until after the election.
The next episode's theme featured Cody Joy, head of affiliate and partnerships education at impact.com, a girl after my own heart, passionate about training and helping to plug the need for continued on-the-job education. We really enjoyed this episode together. One of the reasons for training being such a hot topic this season is because our industry has grown at a rapid rate. Most people fall into affiliate marketing rather than it being selected as a career choice. And this means that managers are sometimes lacking in certain skills, which they often have to go and learn on the job without any clear guidance. Listen into this episode's clip and learn more about the ins and outs of Impact's PXA and how it can help elevate your affiliate knowledge too.
The way that we've sort of defined this path is to help you on the endless flywheel continue to scale and grow your program. So the phases are discover and recruit, contract and pay, track, engage, protect and monitor, and optimize. So the way that we think about it is you start your program by recruitment, right? You need to find the right partners that fit your brand to work with you, get them in the program and get them up to speed. Then you need to figure out how to pay them according to the type of partner that they are and what the partnership requires and all that negotiation. Then you have to make sure you're tracking them so that you're making sure everything is going according to plan and everything's tracking properly. And then you're engaging with them to continue that promotion and to get them up to speed with what messaging you have and how you want the brand spoken about and that kind of thing. You also then need to have protections in place for your program to make sure that they're following any restrictions that you've set, that your TM Plus program is protected if you're running one, or that nobody's bidding if you aren't, that there's no fraudulent orders coming through, things like that. And then lastly, you optimize, take a look at what you've learned over the course of however many months and do it all over again in an endless flywheel that doesn't end. But it's always something different. And that's why it's sort of a flywheel, because you don't want it to end. You want to continue recruiting. continue off. Things change with brands all the time. The landscape's changing all the time. So there's a very common misconception that affiliates should be set it and forget it. Absolutely not. It takes a lot of manpower, a lot of time, strategy to really run a successful scaling program.
I love that. I love the fact that you've created this flywheel, because often, as an agency, we get into affiliate programs and we see that a lot of those 6 steps are being missed. Maybe only 3 of them are being done. And it can really make an impact into how the program incrementally grows. And the massive big subject that we talk about quite a lot in this industry, but really we need to be focusing on the growth of new partners coming in, new traffic sources being explored, new relationships being built. And it is a constant flywheel. It's those small incremental steps that actually help affiliate managers to grow the program over time, slowly over time. And, this industry is still very much led by relationships. We always say it's relationship led. And the fundamentals of understanding how to build successful partnerships and build successful relationships and understanding what these partners need from you is stuff that you learn on the job. Like, there is no one place to go and learn affiliate marketing. I mean, you're currently building it. But the other thing to mention, guys, is that the PXA isn't actually only for impact.com customers. Like, if you're working in any other network, you can still come and do the courses on the PXA, especially around the kind of discovery module and the stuff that isn't linked to the impact platform. And we want people to be accessing this knowledge and using this knowledge, because a rising tide raises all ships. Our next guest on the mic was Hanan Mayem, the VP of Marketplace Operations at impact.com. This episode also touched on the evolution of affiliate marketing throughout the years, with a sharp focus on the changes that content creation has been experiencing with the arrival of AI and ChatGPT for marketers. In the apparent seismic shift of this new technology, we cannot ignore the benefits it also brings to our daily lives and how embracing it could transform the way we communicate and do business. Listen in as Hanan shares his thoughts on where the different technology disruptions have taken us and where the future of AI could perhaps lead us to.
So it's an immensely complex and rich topic, because it's a once in a generation kind of disruption that we're experiencing right now. I think it feels, and in many ways, we've been, again, and I say we, like you and I, Leanne, in our generation, I think we've been through 3 major disruptions since the kind of early 2000s, which I would say is the first one was the search disruption. That's when Google came in and dislodged all the content portals that used to dominate the internet at the time. And then search became the dominant way. It became the operating system of the internet, really. And the second disruption was social media. So starting at around 2004, but really getting this immense backwind, this immense momentum. And the third is smartphones in 2008 with the introduction of the iPhone and the app ecosystem. And I would say that all 3 of them combined feels smaller than what's happening at the moment with generative AI. So I think these 3 disruptions combined, which were all of them huge in themselves, I think they all feel like they might actually be smaller in terms of the way that it will disrupt our future compared to the generative AI. So I'm obviously not going to go and pretend that I know what the future holds and that I understand everything and all the different ramifications of AI. But they're definitely, first, we absolutely must acknowledge that it's real and it's massive. And it's not something that we're going to be able to ignore or just like brush away. No, it's going to transform everything. And it's already transforming a lot of things. I think that as far as our industry is concerned, there are 2 big sort of swim lanes which are going to be affected by it. The first one is publishing and what AI is going to do and is doing to digital publishing. And by that, I mean the creation of content. So up until very recently, the majority of content on the internet was and is probably still created by humans. That is very likely will not be the case anymore very soon. We're already looking at Gen AI creating content on scale and not just textual content. We're talking imagery, video, audio, right? The future of content creation and content generation is not human. That's a seismic shift in how the online world works. So you already see fascinating phenomenons like Gen AI creators which are not real.
Yeah, you've seen them at events. Some events have had AI moderators. They haven't actually been humans.
Websites which are completely based on AI, outside content, etc. So that's something which is enormous. And I think that, again, it's very early days to come up with exactly sort of like a roadmap of what's going to happen. But it does feel very much taken to a certain extreme. This represents potentially a rather existential threat to a lot of content creators, a lot of websites that create content these days. But like every enormous disruption, it usually yields a whole ecosystem of ideas and thoughts and entrepreneurship around it, which is meant to harness the benefits, the potential benefits of it. And for sure, it also has, in that area of content creation, enormous benefits.
The fifth installment of this season came from none other than the star at impact.com as I welcomed on the mic Emma Tett, their VP of Agency Innovation. Having previously co-founded Affluent, Emma gives us a succinct example and explanation of what Affluent is and what it's all about, and how the platform uses data to better aggregate, automate, and optimize to save time for affiliate managers' daily routines. Most importantly, seeing the data and acting on it to better run their affiliate programs. It is one thing to have all the available data at your fingertips, but are you using and interpreting the data correctly? In this next clip, we go over the ways Affluent can help you make sense of all of the data in your platform and what you can do to take advantage of it. So talk to us a little bit about what brands and agencies using Affluent, like what they actually get wrong. Because it's great to have the Rolls Royce of aggregated systems where you can pull absolutely everything in. But if you don't actually use it properly, it's still not going to benefit you. So what are some of the things that you see people getting wrong?
I definitely see people with data overload. Or when they first come to me, they'll be like, hey, I want to recreate this report. And I will get sent a multiple tab Excel spreadsheet with 3 years worth of data month over month with trend analysis for every metric and KPI. And they're sending this over to somebody who is affiliates, one of their responsibilities in-house at a brand. And there's no way that they can be actually drawing any real meaning out of this. So I think one of the things that we've been able to do, and the way Affluent is set up, is actually encourage people to scale back. We still give you all of that data for you to do your analysis and for you to make those deep, weedsy decisions in the background. But when it comes to presenting data and telling a story, bringing it up a level, putting those key metrics at the top, showing where the trends are going, pulling out key publishers, pulling out key categories, key types of publishers that are really working for you. And the first thing that we always encourage every person to do is to start with text. Start with some key metrics and then a text box. Explain what's going on, the highlights, the lowlights, what you've done, what's going forward. Because when you add that little bit of context to data, I think you can really use it a lot better. So I think that's probably one of the things that I see going wrong the most, but I'm also seeing go right as well. That ability to zoom out, show what's really important to the people who need to make decisions. And also, I think one of the benefits that we've been able to give is everybody gets their data in the same format every week. They know how to read it. You're not constantly jumping around looking for a metric that's moved or changed or now being calculated in a slightly different way. That consistency over time, I think, is also really useful to people.
I legit hear my own team say, I wish this platform had this report from another platform, because then I'd be able to do all of my reporting properly. Well, now you can, because if you aggregate all this data into one platform. And I like what you said about storytelling, because as affiliate managers, we also say quite a lot, I need to know how to explain my value, my worth of my channel to the C-level suite. Having a tool like this that can actually put all of the aggregated data across every client into one place and then show your C-level suite, this is actually what the team has delivered, makes that storytelling process just a tad a little bit more easier and less stressful, especially if you're not an affiliate manager that's deep into the weeds on numbers, because not all of us are. Like, some of us are really great relationship builders and salespeople, and some of us are really deep into the numbers. By now, there could be very few people on this earth that have not heard about TikTok. But have you heard of TikTok for Business? I was pleased to invite Varna Hahn, head of global affiliate for the company, to join me on an episode focused on the challenges of content creator ecosystem and how TikTok for Business aims to target SMB advertisers to help them scale and grow. Varna gave us her view on how to grow an affiliate program by focusing on 3 pivotal aspects: the hardware, the software, and the strategy. Tune in now and listen to her advice on this next clip. Your program's huge. It's global. It's all over the world. And I want to dig into that a little bit because, yes, TikTok is a massive brand. It's grown exponentially in a very short space of time, like taking over the Google and the Facebook. It's right up there, but it's come out of nowhere. How have you leveraged partnerships to actually like support that growth? It's integral as part of the business culture because we've had these discussions. So how are you looking to work with partners and what are you learning from swapping into that B2B space?
Yeah, I actually thought about this question. So essentially the question is like, how do you scale essentially any business in the affiliate world, right? Whether it be B2B or B2C. So the way that I break it down into 3 segments. So one is the hardware, which is the tool. So we definitely go out right now. We partner with Impact. It's a great tool. They focus on, rather than focus on everything, they're very specialized, just building a very scalable tool that's global.
Yeah.
So the hardware, then the software, which goes back into the human connection piece, right? So finding the right people. And this is very applicable to all the businesses. So like, how do you find the right people with the right skill set, but it's also able to have the soft skill that's needed, right? Like in this business, you need the right hunter and you need the right gatherer to actually grow the business. So that's the second aspect, which is which I call software. And then you have the strategy, right? So that's the bring aspect of it. Like you still have to understand, like continuously testing to understand what actually works, what actually don't. I just got out of a meeting last night, like essentially like the leadership, my manager was like, hey, do less, but actually find out what's meaningful and just focus on fewer things to do that's actually moving the needle. So that's the core of strategy.
I love that. And you make it sound so simple. You really do. And I know that it's not, because when you're in a big company like that, where growth is constantly being chased, you want to innovate and you want to try new things, but sometimes you can get into that habit of trying new things and it just becomes every day we're trying something new, but nothing is actually moving the needle because you're spreading yourself too thin to try all the new things. Up next, we welcomed Amy Scanlon, the GM of affiliate practice at Right Side Up. Coming to the affiliate world from a microbiology background, Amy's story is by far the most extreme of entrances we've shared to date on this podcast, and it truly reflects the idea that talent in our industry is so varied, which really made our discussion even more interesting. Amy gave us an overview of why having a holistic approach to affiliate marketing is good, the true value of affiliate partnerships, and the evolving role of affiliate managers now happening in the digital marketing mix. I wanted to get Amy's perspective on the skills she feels an affiliate manager should have in order to immerse themselves in the wider marketing team within a company. Listen into this next clip and hear her perspective. So what are the sort of skills that you look for in an affiliate manager? Because I think that's a really important topic to talk about. If you are thinking about taking your program in-house and you are thinking about using like really great SaaS tools, and there's many out there, but like Impact is one of them. That's a really great off-the-shelf SaaS tool that you can plug in and play. And it gives you so much information, tactical insights. If you're really using the tool properly, you can really leverage it. And same for all of the other networks. Like I'm not affiliated to any one place, but that's just one of the SaaS tools, Everflow. There's lots of others. What are the skills that you need to have? Because the tech isn't enough. Right? That's the big thing about this industry is relationships matter. So talk to us about what you look for as raw talent for affiliate managers.
Yeah, absolutely. And just quickly on that, I really believe that best-in-class affiliate programs require 4 very big components. There's the technology, plus the processes in place, the automated workflows, and the breadth of partnerships that add value at every stage of the funnel so your programs don't suffer from the Pareto principle and have over-reliance on a handful of affiliates where you're at risk. And then the affiliate specialist, the person that does know how to build those relationships. And so I think that those components make sense because it's such a tactical channel. Relationships take time and they're very manual in building. You can't just turn on the
fire hose of partnerships like you can with the core channels and gather that data. So you need technology and workflows to automate as much as possible, create operational efficiency so you can build relationships. So when I'm talking to clients and understanding what their goals are with their affiliate program, if they have one already, or if they're launching one, migrating one, building one, optimizing, tuning up one, I really hone in on the profile of talent. And that profile of talent has to be familiar with that stage of company, has to be familiar with that medium mix and all the gaps that it's filling. Because a very mature company has a smaller amount of gaps to play in for affiliates than an early stage company. Also will hone in on the technology that the client or the brand is using and make sure that, to your point, the talent knows that technology inside out to create as many efficiencies as possible.
My next guest of the season featured Max Chicotosto, CPO at Impact.com and the developer of Media Rails. Max's career has gone from working on the publishing side to brand side and eventually product development specifically to solve the challenges that he himself faced. This episode was all about outreach, engagement, and segmentation, giving us superb advice on how best to approach partners and how to use technology to monitor, scale, and engage partner growth. Listen to Max's top tips here on how to effectively use your tech stack to improve engagement. Let's round up with some 5 top tips of what do you think people listening to this podcast today should really go and have a look at in their tech stacks and understand how to harness in order to grow their programs in the next 6 months?
Again, stepping back, I don't want to be too frameworky, right? But fundamentally, I think we still have always think about what are your goals and your culture and what you're trying to achieve, right? So I don't think we need to be mindful of that. Are you driving growth? Are you driving efficiency in your program, right? Sometimes you can strike the balance, but I think fundamentally your main driver should dictate the type of activities you're performing, right? You kind of your goals, you got your strategy to get there, you got your tactics to get there, right? And our technology or any technology is there to help you deliver those, right? And so that's why we kind of think about, again, think about specific buckets of needs. Those needs may be up and down, right? I mean, if you are in a heavy growth mode, okay, well, let's go set up your recruiting and your discovery and automation, get your prospect in, automate the outreach. Like you asked before, you have to send at least 3 emails. Everybody is in sales knows that. In Media Rails, if you look across every send, the plus million email we send, the second email is the most replied, right? So if you are people are not getting back to me because you just send them one note, well, that's not, thing. And so I think one first tip for me when you talk about the recruiting, I will touch on each recruiting bucket, right? Is you are in sales. Too many times I hear people they're not getting back into me, or they didn't reply, or the tool doesn't work. I'm like, the tool works extremely well. Emails go out, right? Find the right email addresses. The tool is working. If you are proposing somebody that has to do custom content for you for a 2% on a $10 CTA, they're not getting back to you. It's a bad offer. You are a bad salesperson, right? That's not work. Think about what is your sales pitch to partners. How do you get them engaged? And if it's a new partner, you may have to lean in a little bit, right? You're not optimizing in your relationship. Nobody kind of does that, right? You just get the ball going, right? And then optimize from there. Just get the win and then keep growing, and then you optimize from there, right? I think this sometimes over-optimization to start.
Joining me next, I had a great conversation with previous speaker at our Afterverse Summits, Martha Berlin, the Regional Vice President of Publisher Development in EMEA at Impact.com. Martha gave us a superb perspective on the publisher side and the importance of segmentation in your affiliate program. One thing that stayed with me was how publishers are now looking at what the consumer wants first to look for new partners to work with next, putting consumers at the forefront of their selection processes. Have a listen to this next clip to go further into this point as I ask Martha what the trends are that she's been recently seeing. What are you seeing right now that successful affiliate programs are doing in terms of program segmentation? Because you and I have spoken a heck of a lot about the importance of segmenting an affiliate program, the importance of making sure that you're working with multivariate different publishers in order to gain the kind of scale and the reach that you want your performance program to do. But why is it so important for brands to consider their segmentation right now? And what are the biggest trends that you're seeing in the way that programs are developing their mix?
Yeah, I think one of the things we are seeing more and more of is brands really looking for partners outside of what you would consider your traditional affiliate models. So a lot of brands come to us asking specifically around audience fit and looking for partners that either fit their established audiences and knowing who they want to target, knowing who their products or services work very well with. Or on the other hand, they're looking to maybe explore completely new audiences, right? So trialing something with like a niche of an audience that maybe they have never targeted before, and really finding partners that can speak to all aspects of these different audiences has been a trend that we have seen very much like from the brands that we work with. And then on the publisher side, for us, we definitely see, our publishers, our partners constantly evolving. They're often some of the first ones to touch any part of, new developments, like new innovation within the industry. They're the ones that really bring that to the forefront. They develop that into their own technologies, their own approaches, and then bring that to our brands. What we see for brands that are really successful is really more of a blending of approaches. So you blend your tried and tested affiliate models with the partners that you have established relationships with some of those partners that, are bringing that innovation. And you as a brand, if you're open to working with new partners that don't neatly fall into those established models, you just add to your affiliate program. So you're not taking anything away from the partners that you're already working with, but you're adding like a separate layer, and you're reaching new audiences, which is something that a lot of our brands are specifically asking us for.
Our 10th installment brought Chris Pettit, the CEO of Reving.io, into the spotlight, looking at the other side of the affiliate marketing industry, the working capital for affiliates and the still outdated payments. More specifically, we spoke about the late payment models, which still can hinder affiliates' business growth. We all like to be paid on time, so why in this industry does it take affiliates so long to get the credit that they deserve? Why is it acceptable for affiliates to wait for commissions sometimes in excess of 30 or 60 days? Chris has seen this problem, identified it, and created the perfect solution in the form of Reving. Listen in now to find out how Reving works and how it can help you with your affiliate business too.
So on the one side, you've obviously got the publisher community. Last to get paid, but the most important part of the whole ecosystem. And I think that's what's so crazy about, I guess, the affiliate marketing is you've got the publishers that are the lifeblood of the industry are the last to get paid and are also the ones that need the cash more likely than the larger partners that are top of the food chain. So you've got, like I said, inverse. You've got the people paying late with the most money, getting people paid last with the least money in most instances. And so what Reving does, in a nutshell, is we have a really cool piece of tech that we built, innovating being the operative word that you mentioned just now. We have a cool piece of tech that we built that enables us to plug directly into all the affiliate networks, and we ingest in real time all of the commission data that is being captured on all of the programs that publishers are running. So it means that if you're a customer of ours and you're operating across all the networks, we plug into all of those on day one, and in real time, we're ingesting all of that commission information. And that's really cool because it means that our customers don't have to wait for two things. One, for those commissions to ultimately initially be validated, because we're looking at that and we're looking at historic performance and we can advance against pending commission. It also means that because we're taking credit risk, so basically who's waiting to pay us are those bigger companies that sit at the top of the supply chain, we can advance quickly and more money to our publisher customers because we're getting that information before an invoice is even raised. So obviously traditional factoring and payments, ultimately that takes for an invoice to be raised and then you're waiting 30, 60, 90 plus days to get paid. Our product enables us to plug directly in all the networks, collect all that commission information in real time, and enable, most importantly, for us to pay you instantly. So really what we're doing is we're compressing and we're contracting all of those payment terms down and enabling the publishers to get paid more quickly. So our publishers are obviously a critical part of our business. But what we found is, and this is to the credit of the industry, over the last year, we've been lobbying and talking to everyone and trying to get everyone really this on the agenda. And what I'm really excited excited about is that the big networks are taking note, they recognize this as a problem, and they're starting to engage with us in a very real way to deliver this solution on their platforms to the benefit of all of their customers. And that's the bit that I'm most excited about, is the fact that our solution, solving a very real problem, it's really changing the way the businesses we work with are doing business.
Our last guest of the season was none other than Will Fraser, head of advocate at impact.com. We discussed his humble beginnings as the founder of Sasquatch, which later partnered with Impact to grow the SaaS tool that is now launched and is a fantastic referral program for customer advocacy called advocate.com. Will deep dives into the world of advocacy, blurring the lines between consumers, influencers, and affiliates. And in this last clip of the season, I wanted to share with you what an advocacy program should look like to see if you'll give it a try. Tune in now to this latest sample of that episode. And if this intrigues you, go back and listen to the full episode because it really was filled with some great tips and advice. So let's talk a little bit about what an advocacy program should look like. Like, what should brands or companies, SMEs, whoever's going to be putting this advocacy program in place, what do they need to get started? When is the right time to do it? And how do they structure this advocacy program? Can you give us some examples of really good, cool, easy to implement, like really effective ones that you've seen in your career?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that the first thing, just to look at an advocacy program versus an affiliate type program. One of the things we just want to remember is these aren't professionals. As much as I said they've grown up in a world where they understand this world, these are not professional affiliates. They are not businesses. So they are not going to go through in a similar experience, right? They're not willing to, they don't want to negotiate terms with you. They're not looking to go through a process where they've got to hand over banking information, tax information, things that are totally reasonable as a business engaging in an affiliate program just don't make sense for your average, advocate out there. So the first thing we want to look at is, how do we build these really seamless, low friction programs, right? How do you make it almost like an accident they made a referral, right? And so the first thing we want to do in our advocacy programs is we want to try to get into the customer journey where the customer is already and when they're happy, right? So if you're a retailer, this is most likely post-checkout. They've got the endorphins going. They've just got the thing. They're excited. This is like a peak moment. Potentially we want to get it in front of them as well. We know that they've received the package. What a great time to ask for advocacy as well. But it's a lot about prompting them at those moments of happiness, right? So I think that's one of the big things to remember is, like, we got to get them at the happy moments, and that they're going to need really low friction on brand experiences, because they're just, they're consumers. They're not going to go through that hassle. But now when we actually look to structure these kind of programs, yes, the simplest advocacy program you can look at, and one of the most effective really is that Refer a Friend program. And when we look at that Refer a Friend program, one of the things, again, just to kind of compare and contrast it to affiliate, in affiliate, we're often thinking, how much can we pay the partner, right? Like we know this is a business, they're in it for the money, and that's fine. That's the business transaction we're in. It's interesting when we get to advocacy, they're not really in it for the money. And if they are in it for the money, we should recruit them into the affiliate program. You know what I'm saying? Like that's fine. You can be in it for the money. Let's do the business relationship. So when we're looking at that, we're saying, can we reward these advocates with things that deepen their relationship with the brand? Can we give them a discount, exclusive access, early access, whatever it might be? So if we can try to give them that makes sense. In some cases, that doesn't make sense.
And that's a wrap for season 17. I would like to thank all of our guests that took the time to sit with me and let me pick their brains to bring to you, our dear listeners, quality content, knowledge, insights, and actionable strategies to adapt your affiliate program or business. Want to hear more from these speakers in person? Then don't forget to book your tickets and come and join me at our upcoming Elevate Summit, which is coming to you live from London on the 16th and 17th of September. What does your ticket include? A remarkable 2-day conference with masterclasses where you can ask real expert questions, a networking space where you can find out about services and tools that can help your business grow, and matchmaking meetups via our soon-to-launch event app. We'll also throw in lunch for the 2 days on us and a networking party to wind you down at the end, courtesy of TikTok for Business, who is our headline sponsor, along with Finexa, Afiverse, Maverick, Lead Generation World, and more, who are all supporting us to deliver this exclusive in-person event. Curious to know what's coming up next on the podcast? We'll be welcoming an entire season sponsored by Diversum Partners as we immerse ourselves in the world of crypto and blockchain marketing, understanding what trends are taking place in the iGaming industry, which you can all learn from. From SEO to social media and community marketing, we've got it all covered in our next season as we talk through a cross-section of the industry and explore what the next generation of consumers adopting alternative information methods are doing to share their data for rewards and offers. If you're not in the crypto industry, you should tune in and listen anyway, because we'll be sharing insights with experts across the marketplace to help keep you informed on what's changing in other verticals and markets around the world. I hope that you've enjoyed this season with us, sponsored by and brought to you by Impact.com, and that you'll tune in for more interesting talks and interviews on the Affiliate Marketing Podcast as I make my way through multiple different verticals, understanding exactly what's working and what isn't so that you can benefit from it. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the Affiliate Marketing Podcast this season.